runs through 1/19/14. See official rules at pcrichard.com/official rules or at any PC Richard & Son store. Sponsored by PC Richard & Son. Week 4, already 1 month down in the league where they play for pay. Bad week last week. 0-4, so it's 8 up and 9 down on the season. It was 8-5, then 0-4, so do the math. 8-9 for the year after an 0-4, thanks to the Steelers finally cashing it in with their 6 turnovers against the Bears last week. All right, 3 games, and I found them, week 2, I liked a million games. That's why I picked a million. Week 3, I was surprised by some of the outcomes. This week, hard to find games. It was very hard. Game number 1, and this one will surprise you, but I have a reason for it. I like the Jaguars getting 8.5 points. And you say, what? Well, first of all, I'll tell you why. The Jaguars have been so bad. They go home, and you look for a team to just have something positive happen early in the season at some moment. Number 2, here's the main reason. The Colts went out to the West Coast last week and had a huge win over the Niners. They got banged up a little bit in that game. Bradshaw's out. They took some lumps. Next week, who do the Colts play? Seattle. So this is your classic sandwich game in between where the Colts, who beat the Niners, looking ahead to the Seahawks, now have to go play a Jacksonville team that has been given up for dead. Listen, Colts will win this game, but this might be a week where, the game gets a little closer, or you get the backdoor cover, or you're getting a lot of points on the road. So you're getting 8.5 points. The Jaguars will keep throwing it late as they did last week against Seattle. They can move the ball. They're not as bad as they've looked, but they've looked terrible so far. And I think the Colts will win. But again, it's 8.5 points. Give me Jaguars plus 8.5 for what I think is a classic in-between week for the Colts. You're not up every week in this league. The Colts played a dynamic game last week, very physical game, across the country, now back across the country, on the road, Seattle next week. So to me, a good week to look for a close game. One, the Colts I'm sure will win with luck, but give me the Jaguars plus 8.5, game number 1. Game number 2, I like to pick a big game if I can give you an opinion on it, and I'm going with the Falcons on Sunday night. Yes, the Pats are 3-0, and I'd have less faith in this pick if Gronkowski's healthy and Amendola is healthy. I don't think they are yet. And even if Gronkowski comes back this week, I doubt Amendola will be back. But even if he does, it'll be a little rusty. Falcons are not as bad as their 1-2 looks, and they really need this game. Saints are already 3-0. They're 1-2. They're good at home. They really need to win this game. It'd be a very big game. Loud place, loud crowd. The Pats have had an easy time of it so far when you look at it. They've played Buffalo, the Jets, and Tampa. 2 of those games, they had a very tough time. Last week, if the Bucs had done anything right, they would have had a tough time early. The Pats did not break that game open until the second quarter, and it was a misleading final score. I think the Pats are vulnerable here. I think this be a good spot for the Falcons to have a big win at home. The Falcons are a 2-point favorite, so the Pats are actually underdog. I thought this game might even be pick'em. I think Falcons should be favored. I thought the Pats might be because the Pats usually get a lot of attention in these games. But smartly, they are underdog. Only 2, though. So I'm going with the Falcons to come up with a big win on Sunday night and come up with a very, very big one. The other one I'm going with is the Broncos. I think they are on fire right now, and I think Philadelphia is the wrong team to go in there. Now, the line's high, but you know what? I think you're talking about whether or not they win by 2 scores or 3 scores. I think right now they can't make the lines high enough for Denver. Denver's on an incredible roll. Manning's on in an unbelievable roll. 75% completions, no interceptions. All those touchdown passes. 12 touchdowns, 1,100 yards passing, no interceptions. Nobody can touch them. Eagles have no defense. Their defense has been embarrassed. So to me, if the Eagles put up 27 points, it will not be enough to cover this game. I think the Broncos will score 40, and who knows what the Eagles are going to do. They'll score some points. They'll make some big plays, but they're not built at all defensively or with their fast-paced offense to play against this team in this building. And they just, early in the year sometimes they don't know how big to make the spreads in the games when a team just keeps exploding like the Broncos are, and I think they will again here, and you'll see them adjust the line accordingly after this week. They're a 10.5-point favorite, not a cheap line by any stretch, but in this league, that's a very big line, and I just think right now there's no slowing them down. They're a juggernaut. They're on fire, and I think they'll win again and win big, 40-21, 41-21, 41-24, something like that. So the 3 picks for week number 4, Jaguars getting 8.5 at home, Falcons -2 against the Pats, and Broncos